Hello, everyone. I, Akshita Dua, on behalf of Cerebrate, the Strategy and Consulting Club, take immense pride in hosting our esteemed guest, Mr. Debashish Ghosh, for our next Industry Unplugged session. Jack of all trades and master of none, or master of one but jack of none, you ask? But our next speaker is a master of all trades. He is not just working as the VP and country HR head of Berkadia, but has also been engaged closely with B School mentoring programs, master classes, curriculum advisory, and selecting new MBA batches. Being an active member of two premier HR associations also makes him work closely with policymakers and industry peers to track the latest trends that are impacting business. It is indeed a pleasure to have you with us today, sir.
Well, thank you very much. With so much kind words, it already puts a lot of pressure on me for the
Not at all.
interaction, but I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you for having me.
Right. So, to get things started, I wanted to play a game with you that has been a popular Instagram fad. So, let's begin with a custom made bingo game. So, sir, have you run a marathon with your mask on?
Not a marathon. Marathon is about 42 kilometers. I have run about 10 kilometers with a marathon. Yeah, but it's very tough with a mask on. I did
That's
only
great.
once. Yeah.
All right. So, have you conducted more than 5 online games in a week for your employees?
5 online games in a week? Probably not. But once in a week for 5 weeks, yes, I did. Yeah.
Oh, all right. That's okay. Oh, all right. So, have you had your laptop battery die in the middle of a meeting?
Oh yes, tell me about it. It happens like thankfully not very often, but the irony of life is that it happens when you need the battery the most, and that's
True.
like terrible. Yeah, it happened to me.
I
Yes.
can understand. Right. So, have you given an entire speech on mute and really realized afterwards that you were on mute?
Thankfully, again, not entire speech, but I think the most often quoted statement of 2020 even now is that you are
Am I
on mute,
audible?
or
Or
am I audible? Right.
right.
So I think many times I have gotten better in just checking my mic to see if I'm this on or off. But it happened. I went on speaking, and then people told me that I'm not audible.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Has the flip side ever occurred? So have you
Oh,
sometimes what happens is you don't want to you want to be on mute but you're not on mute. Has that happened?
yes, it has happened. I mean, not many times, but yes, there was one incident where I should not have been on mute. Thankfully, I was not discussing about work, but I was talking to my wife, but I did not put the mute button on. Pretty early
Right.
in the lockdown days, it was a big there was a big laugh, and then I realized that this is what had happened. It was a bit
Right.
of an embarrassment because it happened. Now it is still okay, I guess. People are starting accepting all of these things,
Right.
but early in your lockdown stage, it was quite embarrassing.
They
Yeah.
took some time to adapt it, right?
Yes. Yes.
So have you done unrelated work while attending an online meeting? Like you do backhand work and it's unrelated to the meeting, but you still do it.
I know you're recording this. It's a bit of a risk to say that. The answer is yes.
Okay.
Not all the meetings are very, very engaging. I have done a few things, but I think thankfully it is constructive. I rate something which is might be very useful for me. But yeah, I have done this. I still do it, to be honest with you.
Great, great. So have you read 3 books in a single stretch, knowing your love for books?
I actually read at least 2 books simultaneously all the time.
All
That's
right.
what I prefer doing is my individual thing. 3 books I think I have done, but two it's very regular. It's very common.
Great, great. So I think we've already made one bingo, but let me just go on to the next one still. So, have you learned a new HR topic and shared the knowledge on LinkedIn? I think you've done that.
Well, yes. See, what I do really, Akshita, is that the moment I obviously do a lot of LinkedIn sessions. When I say LinkedIn, I mean the sessions with college students. My belief has been that the moment you learn something, it has to be shared. It cannot be to yourself because that helps me learn as well. A lot of my growth as an HR professional also happened because of that. My recent talks has been a lot about technology in HR, analytics in HR, is about data science in HR, even blockchain in HR. These are stuff that if you had asked me 2 3 years back, I would have no clue about it. Now I'm learning about how to use agile methods in HR. So once I learn about it, my next goal would be to share this knowledge with others and learn from others as well. Yes.
That's great. I think that's really great, sir. So, have you initiated a gratitude or thank you day at your workplace?
Not recently. I think it's a great idea. I'll take that from your question. I'll take that. We do thank people. This last year has been a year of gratitude and thankfulness, but I think there is a merit in celebrating that in a particular day. So
Very
yeah,
nice.
I think yeah, I should do that. Yeah.
Right. So, have you had 10 back-to-back online conferences in a span of 5 hours?
I think so. I mean, I think 90% of my day, unfortunately, sometimes goes on meetings, and these meetings are about half an hour. So 5 hours, 10 meetings. Yes, I think I have gone. Yes, I've gone through it.
So, I think that was great, and you aced that with A's. So now let's go on to the next part of it. So, it's not a hidden fact that our attention spans are now, in fact, even shorter than that of a goldfish. Goldfish has an attention span of 9 seconds, and an average human nowadays has an attention span of 8 seconds. So, with that in mind, we've kept the next session very crisp and very informative. So, sir, my first question to you is, what is the first word that comes to your mind when I say HR analytics?
Let me say two words that comes to my mind. The two words would be actionable insights.
Great. So, one human advantage and one software advantage with respect to turnover of an organization.
One human and one software advantage. I think that both are very similar because human problems can be solved by software and vice versa as well. But I think uh, advantage for a turnover, that is very interesting. So one human advantage would be if there is a turnover, there could be an opportunity for others. That's an advantage. And because if somebody else is leaving, that means a space is created for somebody else to grow, right?
Right.
And yeah,
And if
and
an HR, so
yeah.
human is that an HR is, handling that turnover process, and the software is that the software advantage is that the software is handling that turnover process.
Okay, all right. Okay, got it. So I think yes, if a human is handling the process, right, the advantage is that if there is a turnover, for example, it's a very interesting question because how can turnover be an advantage? So turnover can create opportunity for others. If I am leaving the company and you working in the same company, you can take my position, and a human being can build that career or have that career conversation with you, whereas a software can build that career path by having that performance management system on their software. So I think it works both the ways. Human beings and software can work together when there is a turnover and turn it to an advantage.
That's great, sir. So my next question is, what are the three main core competencies that an HR person today will have to adopt before being called as an HR analyst, like going towards the analytics side of it?
Three HR competencies. Okay, number one, um, the person needs to be a good storyteller. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the HR analytics person needs to provide actionable insights through his data. Number three, the person must be focused on leading indicators and not lagging indicators. So it's not that the person is doing a post-mortem, but the person should tell me what is likely to happen, like a leading indicator. So I
Right.
think these are three things. Storytelling is a key competency. Providing actionable insight is number two, and working on leading indicators is number three for me. Yeah.
That's great. So, with the new methods that are ever, evolving human minds we concoct every day, how successfully will an HR software will be able to embody the same process? And, how perfect will it be, according to humans?
No, I think HR software in analytics or in technology has huge and immense potential, right? The only thing that you have to think about is that how do we make it successful is something as a human being's control. What really happens, and I call it an ground truths of technology, right? Um, all this AI software data, they work through something called a machine learning system, more or less, right? So you teach the machine what needs to be done, and machine gets intelligent over a period of time. The challenge that happens, and it's where most of the software fails, is that sometimes if you do not teach the machine the right things to do, the machine will learn the wrong things. Okay, so what should happen is that the processes that we follow should be correct. First, need to fix the processes. Suppose there's a recruitment process or a selection process, right?
Hmm.
A good recruitment software should learn the good things, and for that the processes need to be correct first. If my recruitment process is wrong, and if I teach the machine the wrong things, the machine learning, then the software won't work, or it will give me wrong outcomes. So I
Right.
think that's one area that one has to be really careful about, that before just not blindly adapt and adopt to a tool or a platform. One has to make sure that the internal processes are absolutely spot on. And after that, you should then teach the machine the right behaviors, and the machine will do their work after that.
Very true. I think that's what differentiates us humans from that software. Right.
Yes,
So,
that's true.
sir, is it true that HR analytics will lead to mass layoffs due to HR workers being underinformed in the field of analytics?
No, the answer is a big no. No, no. I know how many big font you want to make it. Might be 120 and a red.
That's actually a very famous myth that HR, when software comes into a job, it leads to a lot of layoffs. So
I
wanted
do.
to address that.
No, no. I think that's probably the question of the day, because it is in everybody's mind, Akshita. You had the courage to ask it, but I know that I interact with so many students, especially is there in their mind a lot. It is quite funny because, as I said, the answer is no. HR analytics has been the biggest job creators in the world of HR lately. It is just the opposite. I mean, forget about layoffs and people losing jobs. Data, AI, and analytics will create jobs across, and it has become the biggest impact on HR, because you will see the lot of the great opportunities coming up in HR are in analytics, and it will continue to be so, because I think data is very powerful. Data gives actionable insights. Data makes us helps us make great decisions, right? The issue earlier with HR, and that's a kind of a perception as well, is that HR does not talk about data, just gives general gyan, right? HR analytics has become so powerful for us, a tool right now, that we can go with that data and tell, listen, this is not about my gut feeling, this is not about what my perception is, this is what the data is saying. And that has made HR very powerful. So this thought about analytics losing jobs is totally taking jobs away, is totally unfounded. It will create jobs on the contrary.
Nothing like that. So nothing like that. So my next question to you is that COVID-19 has changed the working culture worldwide. So what are the new nuances and skills that one looks for while filtering and selecting a candidate online? Because you cannot see the behavioral, traits of a person when you meet them online.
Sure. So I think a lot of it can also be, now we have become much more intelligent while using online tools. So I think a lot of it is still possible, to gauge online. But I'll tell you something, and I have this one line job description for especially freshers and college hires. And I tell them that, no matter what you do, whether you are specializing in marketing, finance, HR, analytics, supply chain, operations, you have just one job to do, right? And there is a one line job description. That JD is this, that your job will be to solve business problems proactively and creatively through data and emotional intelligence. So, whoever is listening to the interview should remember these few words, right? Solve business problems creatively and proactively through data and emotional intelligence. This is all that you would be doing as you get into the new workforce, right?
Right.
Now, when I'm hiring, in that case, if this is the job description, when I'm coming to hire or my fellow HR leaders are coming to hire, what do we look at then? To your question, what is this filtering and selecting of people online or even offline? I think three things that is becomes very, very critical to meet the JD, and I call it the new CTC. And I would really recommend that students should focus on this CTC. While the other cost to company is very important, salary is important,
Right.
but I would rather, as a youngster, focus on this CTC. The C for me stands for creative thinking. T stands for technology literacy, and the C stands for consultative skills. You should
That's
focus on how to be a creative thinker, how to be a good consultant, and also be very technology literate. If you are focusing on these skills, and this is where I can these to gauge these skills, I can do it both online and offline, right? And if you focus on these three skills, I think you'll be very ready for the new job description and also for the new world of work.
I think nothing like that. I'll always focus on the CTC you told me first now. So
Thank you.
yeah. So what steps is Berkadia taking to adopt HR analytics?
Oh, lots. If you go to Berkadia and look at our vision statement, and I recommend a lot of you to do that. There are not many companies I know of who has analytics as a part of their vision statement. This is very powerful. Okay, it's part of the vision statement. We say that at Berkadia, this is our vision statement. Is this that at Berkadia we are redefining the industry. This is very powerful. Okay, at Berkadia we are redefining the industry with long-term investments in people and technology that deliver actionable insights and create the best customer experience. The fact that you're talking about technology and delivering actionable insights, analytics is all about that.
Right.
we
True.
we say that we want to be the next disruptor in the industry, and how do we do it? Through by delivering actionable insights, of course, that will result in the best customer experience. We are all here for the customer experience. So analytics for us in Berkati is not about having a department. It is not about having a training session. It is not that the fact that everybody else is doing, every other company is doing, so let's do it. We use analytics to create make a difference in industry. Let me give you now, you since you spoke about HR specifically, let me give you many examples. I can give two examples, might be very quickly. One is that we work on a very intuitive uh, attrition prediction model or a software. That software, by the way, is built in house,
Right.
right? We look at large volumes of data, okay, and that data helps us predict certain human decisions and throws up risks on attritions. For example, Akshita, you're working for Berkadia, right? That software can predict whether you are looking to move out of Berkadia, whether you're
Oh,
deciding towards that, so that I can take a proactive action. Because when you have already resigned, nothing much can be done, isn't it? You've
very
already
true.
made up your mind, right? This is very intuitive, very AI based tool built in house, and also a lot of analytics have gone into it because it is all about looking at, as I said, large volumes of data. So that is one thing that we do. Very, very powerful. Second thing that we have done, I can talk about, is something we have done in employee benefits. Now, Berkadia has got a host of benefits for employees, a lot of them. I think we kind of set a benchmark of employee benefits. Now, having just a benefit might not be good enough. What is important is to have a tool which should, through analytics, of course, which should tell me which benefit is working and what is not working. Are people finding the benefit useful or not useful? I'll give an example. We have a benefit of annual health checkup,
Right.
right? Which everybody should do. It is very important these days to have a healthy life. But are people using it, right? What do I do to make people use it? What do I do it differently?
Mhm.
Can I make the benefits customizable to the employee requirements? Because what benefit you need, I might not need that, right? So there's a
Right.
lot of work happening on those areas as well. So very interesting what you can do with HR analytics. And I feel that although you're doing a lot of stuff, but you are still on the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more stuff you can do going forward.
I think the first one you told, that is just amazing. It blew my mind away, sir. That's, I
It
mean,
is.
the thinking that is put into that kind of a process must be just amazing. So, coming on to my last question, I don't want to end this, but the time is, telling us to, stop this now.
Sure.
So, coming on to my final question, how was your experience in transforming, Berkadia from a services base to a product development company? So, can you throw some light on that?
Sure, I'll keep it quick because we are running out of time as well. So see again, the vision of Berkadia is to redefine the industry, long-term investments, and as I said, which in turn will create the best customer experience, right? So the idea, Akshita, is not really becoming a product development company, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think, see, we have been in the industry for about 3 decades, right? We have very strong customer service or services portfolio, right? The goal really is to make our services better with technology and data
Right.
so that our customers can make better decisions. So it is not about really having a product or not really having a services really, right? It's really about how can you offer superlative services with the help of analytics and data, and that is the transformation we are going to make. We are going to democratize decisions and let investors take decisions on their own sometimes. They not really depend on us. And we are going to do that by offering them various tools and platforms so they can access, and therefore it helps them take better decisions. So that's the journey we are taking, and that's the exciting part of the journey.
Yes, so I think giving them the autonomy, I think no other company has, put its hands on yet. So that's a great transformation that you're leading us to. So, so as all good things must come to an end, we have also reached the end of this riveting session. So, thank you, sir, for taking out time from your busy schedule to do this. And our viewers will surely learn a lot about HR analytics from